I'm Julie Jules, and I want to talk about evolution. So, as you go into the forest and you go and walk through the trees, you might see speckled leaves among the oak trees or a snail's coil on a leaf. This is creative evolution in action, as the animals and plants build beautiful pictures on the forest scene for you. And those which are popular will be copied and repeated and ingrained into some DNA until you get beautiful butterflies and hummingbirds that have evolved from the safe, protected area. As you step out of the forest, you come into an ecotone, a beautiful place where two or more ecosystems meet. This is another place that evolution is occurring because of the variety of DNA. Animals and plants and mycorrhiza that have never met before and commingle and eat the DNA in the poop or have sex or etc. And this is a place that's kind of a luck of the draw evolution, as DNA might randomly shift in and out of these ecotones. In times of plenty, more evolution is occurring. As these ecotones withdraw, as there's less water or less energy, they always withdraw back into themselves. And there becomes a larger space, the ecotone. And the middle of the ecotone, I call this the eco desert, is no longer provided for by the ecosystems. These plants and animals are on their own, so they learn to fend for themselves. The mustard seeds no longer accept mycorrhiza because they want to be on their own. The desert tortoise can go so long without water because it knows it can't count upon it. And so this is the area where survival of the fittest occurs. Only the strong, only the well-designed animals and plants and mycorrhiza live in these areas. And these areas are the same areas that occur year in, year out as the ecosystems pull back into the center and back out. And they usually desert areas. And there are areas where skeletons and fossils will survive. So, survival of the fittest is over-representative from a fossil standpoint. And so it's hard to argue because there's so much science and research on these fossils. But it doesn't mean that it's the only thing going on or that it's the most common thing going on. But what it does mean is that we develop a survival of the fittest mentality, that we must care for ourselves, that we must not spend any extra energy. This causes some of our anxiety and problems that go on because we're so worried that we won't be provided for. Yet we pray to God, so many of us, that God will provide, yet we don't believe that God because we believe survival of the fittest. This dichotomy is not good for our health either. And now it has moved into how we are perceiving our environment. We are treating climate change solutions like survival of the fittest. So when we plant drought-resistant landscapes that have small leaves that shed off water quickly, then we have landscapes that aren't adding to the water and energy circulation like a regular ecosystem would. And these plants are individual and tend to be separate and not commingle with other plants. So the amount of diversity and biomass is decreased by the tens of thousands because these are just individual plants rather than full ecosystems. Solar panels are a great example. We don't believe that there will be enough energy to provide, so we put in solar plants. And the solar power is put right on top, right where the ecosystems run. A lot of it's because they want to transmit the energy along these routes of these ecotones. And the ecosystem is saying, what are you doing? Black rocks were the first thing that God invented. And we already transmit energy through the flutter of the leaves that shine and the sparkle on the water as the wind goes. We're trying to recreate things that are already created, and we're very inefficient at it. And then it removes us once again from nature. So we know we can change the climate. So I want to change the climate. There's no way I'm going to stop climate change. That I'm not going for the survival of the fittest attitude. I'm going, the pie in the sky is what I'm aiming for, in the middle of the most creative ecosystem I can find, and discover what brilliant ways there are to change the climate to when I want it to be.